Om. Gate gate persam gate bodhisoha. 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 Gone, gone, gone beyond to enlightenment. We are one with the divine. Welcome and namaste to Tridevi Chamunda Mandir in Denver, Colorado. This is Yamajit, and thank you so very much for joining me on this Tuesday night for our weekly satsang and puja. And this is part 2 of our series on the mandala of the 5 Dakinis. I'd like to say namaste to Elizabeth, who's joining right now, and anybody else who happens to be tuning in. Please feel free to say hello using the chat function on the bottom of your screen. Quick announcement, this coming Friday at 7 o'clock will be our monthly Yoga Nidra meditation. And this will be in honor of the third of the 10 Mahavidya, or great wisdom goddesses. I will be honoring Tripura Sundari, also known as Lalita or Sudashi. And I think you'll enjoy this meditation very much. And looks like last week's video was very popular. Part 1, where we meditated on the central figure of the mandala, Buddha Dakini. Today we're going to be honoring Vajra Dakini, the small blue figure in the corner, which represents the eastern direction. I want to say a little bit of little something about the structure of the mandala itself. So the central figure, Buddha Dakini, sometimes shown as one of the aspects of Ma Vajra Yogini, sometimes as a white Dakini, white divine female figure in the center. And then the 4 remaining Dakinis represent the direction. So today, the blue Dakini, we're going to be honoring. She's in the eastern direction. Next week will be Ratna Dakini, the yellow Dakini of the southern direction. The red Dakini of the west will be the next week. And then the penultimate edition of this series will be the green Dakini. This is Karma Dakini of the north. The red Dakini is Padma Dakini. And they also represent, in addition to the directions, the 4 elements. So Buddha Dakini in the center was the ether element. Vajra Dakini, who we're honoring tonight, represents the water element. Ratna Dakini, the yellow Dakini, is the earth element. The red Dakini Padma Dakini represents the fire element, and then the air element in the green Karma Dakini of the north. And I'm going to show you a couple of variations of this mandala. So this illustration here, which shows Buddha Dakini in her white form, and east is on the bottom, and then south, west, and then north. And kind of orienting this picture because it's giving me a mirror image on my computer screen. And then I'm going to show you another variation on the opposite wall here. I'm going to pan the camera around. And some of you who have been watching our Cho practice series might recognize this one. So sometimes Buddha Dakini, the central Dakini, is shown in blue in the center, and this is actually Troma Nagmo, the most wrathful form of Vajra Yogini. And then Vajra Dakini is shown as white, and we see her in the lower left-hand corner. So this is just another variation of the same mandala. But for our meditation tonight, something I'm going to do, focus back on our mandala here, and I'm going to zoom our image in to the blue Dakini in the eastern direction so we can get a closer look at her as part of our meditation. Just bear with me while I get her into focus. And there she is. So she's really in the same form as the Buddha Dakini in the center. So she is dancing upon a lotus and a corpse figure representing transcending our greatest fear, the fear of death. And then she's standing on a sun disk, and she is holding a triguk, or kartika, the flaying blade, similar to this piece. And she is also holding a katvanga, a skull staff, as well. It's the same necklace of 50 severed heads, again representing the characters of the Sanskrit alphabet, hence the power of mantra. And likewise, she is surrounded by an arch of flames representing both enlightened consciousness and transformation as well. I want to say a little something about these items at the bottom here, and I'm going to pan over to the central display of offerings to Buddha Dakini on the bottom. Same types of offerings. So these images that you see here are representative of jewels. And then we also have an offering of coral, an offering of incense. 2 ivory tusks are being offered. Also, gold ornaments are among the offerings, and then skull cups filled with blood, which represent the transformation of consciousness. I'm going to pan back over to Vajra Dakini, who is also the feminine form of the Buddha family, known as the Vajra family. And I'm going to say a little bit about some of the characteristics of this blue Dakini. So last week, as part of our meditation, we focused on the syllable Bam. The seed syllable for Vajra Dakini is Ha, H-A. I mentioned the direction is the east. Her symbol is the scepter, or Vajra, representing the indestructible force. So the power of lightning, the power of a diamond, both of those words translate to mean Vajra. She's associated with the water element, blue for water. Chakra-wise, actually the heart chakra. Her obstructed pattern, that is the poison that we transform in meditating on her, is the poison of anger. And we're transforming that poison into mirror-like wisdom. And I'll say a little bit more in just a second here about what that really refers to. It's aggregate, or a skanda is the level, is really our perception of the consciousness. The time of day, the sun rises in the east, so it's dawn. Her season is late autumn. Her landscape, the type of scene that we might see in meditating on her, would be rugged mountains, icy rivers. Her shape is the circle. So for Buddha Dakini, her shape was the dot, the bindu at the center of the mandala. This shape would be the surrounding circle. And then there's a body type associated with this Dakini archetype. Someone with the Vajra body type would be thin, clean cut, sharp features, kind of a hard, muscular body, and the sense perception of Vajra Dakini is the sight. And then to give more information, I'm going to read this excerpt from the Tibetan Buddhist Encyclopedia. So Vajra in Tibetan is dorje, which means diamond. It also means indestructible, invincible, firm, and stable. Enlightened wakefulness is indestructible. The Sanskrit word Vajra can be translated as thunderbolt, and it can cut through any situation. The symbol is the scepter or Vajra, like the one I was showing you, with a central hub and prongs radiating out. Like energetic power emitting from the hub, it also symbolizes the phallus, masculine power, dynamic forces of skillful means, although it applies to both men and women equally. The color of this family is blue, a cool color. The element is water, which can be steam, liquid, ice, froth, wavy, flowing, or still. It can be gentle or destructive. Really a very adaptive energy. Lao Tzu once wrote, "Man at his best like water, serves as he goes along." The time is dawn, that is clear, chilly time before the sun rises. There is much potential. The season is late autumn going into winter. It is sharp, spiky vividness of the late fall morning, which has barrenness. The landscape is rugged mountains and icy rivers. The shape is a circle representing a mirror. The sense perception is sight, visual clarity, and this clarity extends to an intellectual ability to correct any distortions with the precision that is penetrating. The Vajra person is scientific and logical and can analyze something from every point of view. A Vajra interior would be simple and modern, but with very hard edges and textures, such as Japanese or Zen aesthetics. Less is more with Vajra. The body type is thin, well-toned, and angular, with sharp facial features. It is a naturally slim body type, not created through diet or going to the gym. The clothes are well tailored and high quality. So it's encumbered pattern, or it's poison, to use the other term. Anger is the encumbered pattern, hot, frigid anger, similar to steam. This hot energy is one of the most destructive patterns on the planet. This combination of anger and power can be very destructive. The other type of anger is cold, passive, aggression like ice. It is the energy we found in the Buddha family turned toward another. Anger is controlling, since when we are angry, we get the control of the room. Anger can materialize as contraction, judgment, and criticism. The Buddha family is disconnected, but Vajra family, we forcefully cut off, detaching with a cold intellectual analysis. Anger has an aggressive pushing out quality and can trigger physical symptoms, such as an increased heart rate, higher blood pressure, increased adrenaline and cortisol, preparing us for flight or flight. Underneath this pattern, there is very often fear and vulnerability. Thus, Vajra types tend to survey the environment for potential threats. Anger is the defense, spurred on by fear. Just to sidetrack a little bit, there was an ancient Greek historian named Herodotus who declared that the cause of all wars is the growing power of one side and the fear of the other. Back to the article. A Vajra person can have their anger triggered by rudeness, poor service, fatigue, hunger, injustice, infidelity, bullying, being humiliated, sexual frustration, violations, traffic, financial insecurity, being ill, grief, and loss. A Vajra person can over intellectualize and disconnect from intimacy rather than being present. They have a tough time knowing what they feel. The Vajra sexuality can be sadomasochistic, unemotional, and detached. The Vajra person needs to be right. They tend toward austerity and Spartan lifestyles. Then, looking to what we are transforming that anger into, the wisdom. It is a mirror-like wisdom and clarity that reflects everything, which is unaffected by what it reflects. The base of the mirror-like wisdom is space and openness, which comes from the Buddha family. In this state, all phenomena appear accurately and without distortion. It's about recognizing the illusory nature of things. There is clarity without reactivity, judgment, not the coldness and heartless anger in its encumbered state. They say the worse your pattern is, the brighter the wisdom can shine. The sharp edge of anger can develop into panoramic awareness. So think about that playground saying, I'm rubber, you're glue, whatever you throw bounces off of me and sticks to you. Mirror-like wisdom is different from that. So things are affecting you from the outside and they're being reflected from you. But instead of just reflecting out the exact same energy, that energy has been transformed into compassion. So instead of reacting violently against something, you are giving it compassion. There's a difference between a fierce necessity manifestation and plain hatred. By working with the shadow aspect of anger, we can channel it into a constructive and compassionate way. Jema. So tonight's meditation is for the purpose of transforming anger. Transforming anger into that mirror-like wisdom that radiates forth compassion. So with that, I invite you to take a comfortable seated position so that you can look upon your screen with a relaxed gaze. And I invite you to just gaze upon the image of Vajra Dakini for starters. And then just start taking some deep, slow, clearing yogic breaths. Full inhalations, full exhalations, completely filling and emptying the lungs. Breathing out the cares of the day, the concerns of yesterday, the worries of tomorrow. And inhaling deeper and deeper relaxation, a sense of safety. And most importantly, an awareness on the present moment. Not yesterday, not tomorrow, just simply now. Not doing, simply being. Focusing on your heart center, connecting with whichever form of the Divine Mother you're closest to personally. Just knowing that that energy is there to guide you. And then while continuing to breathe deeply, I invite you to slowly close your eyes. And as you breathe with your eyes closed, I invite you to tune in with yourself and just notice any tensions that might be happening on a physical level. Muscle tension, maybe a slight ache or pain. And we're going to take 3 deep breaths, deep inhalation, and I'm going to invite you to release that tension with a deep exhalation with a sigh. So first, deep inhalation, then releasing with a sigh. Let's do that again to breathe out those physical tensions. Deep inhale, release. And then one more for physical tension. Nice deep inhalation. And release. Good. And now I invite you to tune in with your mental self and notice any stresses or tensions there on the mental level. And again, we're going to do 3 deep, clearing, releasing breaths to let go of that mental tension. So first inhalation, hold. Second inhalation. And one more inhalation for mental tension. And release. And then I invite you to tune in to your spiritual self and any tensions that may reside there, maybe in the forms of insecurities or uncertainties. And I invite you again to take a nice deep breath and let it go. And let's do that 2 more times. Nice deep inhale. Release. And one more deep inhale. And release. So continue breathing, keeping your eyes closed. And I invite you now to repeat the following words after me. I take refuge in the Buddha. I take refuge in the Dharma. I take refuge in the Sangha. In other words, we take refuge in our teachers. We take refuge in the teachings. And we take refuge in those around us who are also following this path. And finally, I invite you to just acknowledge that you're doing this practice tonight, not just for yourself, but for the benefit of all living beings as well. So continue breathing deeply with your eyes closed. And I invite you to scan your body and feel where the energy of anger may reside. It could be a heaviness in the limbs, a cold chill in the belly, or a feeling of compression in the heart or the lower abdomen. Just focus on that energy. And if you're not noticing anything, I just invite you to focus your breath and awareness on your heart center. And feel that encumbered energy by imagining a time in your life when you felt this, when you felt anger creating the sensations that you're aware of right now. Just replay the memory. And be aware of the sensations. And I invite you to intensify that blocked energy, those feelings of anger, control, and coldness, so that you begin to feel it really strongly. And this gives a feeling of the Vajra family, the Vajra Dakini, the Vajra energy in its blocked state. So now we're going to sound the seed syllable for Vajra Dakini, the syllable ha, slowly and in a low voice. And as you sound it, feel the sound go through your body, almost as if you're sending the sound into your body rather than projecting it outward. And as you sound that syllable, I invite you to feel your body being permeated by blue light and cool water, and feel that obstructed pattern transform into mirror-like wisdom, the wisdom that you can reflect out in your thoughts, in your words, in your deeds, in compassion. And let that wisdom come with the sound and the blue light. So I invite you to join me in chanting the syllable ha, or you can just simply meditate quietly and feel its effects. Ha.
And just allow yourself some time to rest in that wisdom. You can continue repeating the seed syllables silently to yourself, slowly and mindfully, resting for a moment after each repetition, and resting in the energy of mirror-like wisdom, and let it integrate into your being.
And then finally, just allow yourself to rest for a time in a place of stillness and a place of silence. So I invite you now to take a deep and clearing breath, letting go of the meditation. Begin to bring yourself back into your personal space. Feel the floor below you, the temperature of the air on your skin, the clothes that cover you. Slowly begin to move your fingers and toes, your hands and your feet, arms and legs. Bringing yourself back while listening to our final benediction. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. And slowly bringing the palms of your hands together at your heart center. Taking some final deep and clearing breaths. Taking a moment to acknowledge that Divine Mother's presence within and around you. Give gratitude to yourself for taking part in this practice tonight, knowing you can replay this broadcast and do this practice at any time. Slowly opening your eyes. Namaste. Blessings always. Thank you so very much for joining me, and Jai Ma. Jai Ma. Jai Ma. So, and thank you, Elizabeth and Kim, for joining me, and anyone else who's watching live, and anybody else who'll be watching the recording in the future. I look forward to you joining me Friday, 7 p.m. Denver, Colorado time for our monthly Yoga Nidra practice dedicated to the goddess Lalita, also known as Tripura Sundari. She's the form of the Divine Mother who's at the center of the Sri Chakra. So if you like working with the Sri Chakra, I think you'll really enjoy this Nidra. And then I also look forward to you joining me next Tuesday, 7 o'clock, also on YouTube, where we'll honor the next Dakini, Ratna Dakini, in the southern direction. And thank you again so very much. And just take a moment and do some quiet meditation and contemplation for resuming your daily activities. And over these next few days, maybe just notice any little transformations that have taken place. Maybe just handling situations a little bit differently than you might. Maybe something that's not stressing you the way it used to. And again, once again, blessings. And see you soon, and have a wonderful night. Jai Ma. Jai Ma. Jai Ma.